Some they call it functional alcoholism, but if you know anything about Ben, he's got vision with precision, microphones and a tinkle of derision. You're about to hear what beer can be. It's time for Barley and Me.
All right, and we're back, and we've somehow picked up a straggler. We got the ex-head brewer of Sierra Nevada, Steve Dresler.
That's right. Go into a bar, you never know what you'll find.
Yeah, it's weird. You hang out at Sierra Nevada on a Thursday afternoon, and somehow Sierra Nevada representatives just show up.
It's regular night, after all.
Yeah.
And Steve was quite regular here on occasion.
Yeah, this is the night I come down because all the pub regulars come in, and a lot of them have been drinking on Thursdays at Sierra Nevada since the early 80s.
Perfect.
So
when you've been brewing.
When we were on Gilman Way, we always had we had a kegerator, and so the original guys were city workers, and they would come down and drink, and then started bringing bags of pistachios and stuff, and so they've been doing this on Thursdays. I'm thinking since probably 1984, 85.
It's an early barter system where they would trade nuts for beer.
Yeah, so
That's where the term beer nuts came from.
Oh. Really?
No, I just made that up.
All right, well, maybe it's true, though. Maybe it did actually start that way, and you've unearthed it.
It's our story, and we're sticking with it.
Perfect. Exactly. This is fun. You're here. You retired, last year?
It'll be 2 years on June 1st.
Where does time go?
Oh, shit. I was thinking about it today. I was talking to somebody about it, and it just flew by.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But it's really, really fun.
Yeah.
No regrets.
I like that we're here to talk about the future of where beer's going. You're like, I'm out of the game. I don't have skin in this game anymore.
I'm still very current.
Yeah, you have to be.
I've done a number of speaking engagements since I retired, and I'm doing some consulting. I'm currently working with a malting company called Proximity, and I do beer formulations for them, and then I go do a collaborative brew with their customers in different areas of the country. I've done 2. I'm going to do one on the East Coast. And then we brew together, and then we present the beer at some type of brewing function.
Yeah.
So, staying busy.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking, combined, we have over a century of beer experience. If we count me just drinking it at home alone.
How long have you been drinking?
How long have I been drinking? I want to say about 13 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
So we got,
I was a late start.
70,
30,
25, 90?
Yeah, I had 70 right here.
It's over,
it's over a century of drinking experience. So I think we couldn't get a better panel to say, where is beer headed from this point forward?
Oh, my
We talked
gosh.
last segment about the constant innovation. There's new styles. There's new ways to approach a classic style. What's next? What's on the horizon?
Go ahead, Judy.
I don't know if it's so much what's next. I think it's still the basic. I think what's still happening, in my experience of watching it, is it's still the experience of the styles of the beer that the brewers are doing. They're very innovative. The new hazies and everything is fine, and it's a wonderful beer. But what I love are the classics, the lagers, the pale bocks, pilsners, the real pale ales.
Some nice saisons, some nice Belgian
Beautiful
beers.
saisons.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's so much about the future. I think what we're bringing in, that they all are, these wonderful breweries are still bringing in, are all these new people that have learned to drink all these beers now and enjoying them. They're ready to try all the classic styles of beer. Don't you think that?
Yeah.
I totally agree. And, you've got all this new generation, very young brewing group. And like you said, they've been drinking this beer their entire lives, their drinking lives. For my experiences, I meet them and talk to them. They're much better educated because they have better opportunities for that than we did back in the 80s.
Oh, yes.
They have phenomenally better equipment. I think overall they're making just overall better beer.
Yep.
But they do, there's so many spins. But I agree with Judy. It's those classic styles that they take and they put their own spin on them. And then you have so many new tools to play with the different varieties of hops and all the specialty malts. And so you can really fine tune an IPA or a Pilsner or whatever style, and really make it your own, because you can put a little bit of a twist on it with the raw materials that you can get. You know, back in the day, we had Cascade, or you had Cascade.
Oh, Cascade, that's right.
so,
that's right. But that was
yeah.
very exciting back in my day.
That was very exciting.
That had flavor.
Oh, that was amazing.
Well, and I think too is like the one thing I hope is that it remains the same. If
That's what
going
I'm
to a pub and enjoying a pint of beer with friends, with family, and really what I think what it's all about is like, sure, we have great beers and we get to enjoy the beers, but we get to enjoy the company around us too, and not turn into. I mean, I love the social aspect of like the Untaps and all the other stuff of rating beers and things like that. But I hope we never lose sight of it's all about us having fun, us enjoying a cold beer, a cold beverage, and friendship.
And cold-hearted company.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Warm-hearted
we
company?
could
I'm
sling some
sorry.
shit at each other on
Warm-hearted
occasion.
company is what I meant the whole time.
Right.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if you guys are into punk rock at all.
No.
But Refuses the Shape of Punk to Come has a line, the classics never got a style. They say that. And I think that's really where, if you're a beer drinker, you always... It's crazy because like when you're a craft beer, when you start getting into craft beer, you're kind of a nerd and an aficionado and kind of a jerk who would
No,
you
not a
drink
jerk.
Belgian, you drink big stouts, and then like as you go on, you're like,
Right.
I could go with a nice light lager right now. But like
Absolutely.
when you were younger, you're like, no, I would never debase myself with
Right.
a lager.
I did.
We all do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I did
It's
then, and
what-
I still do.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. We
and
did
that's
too.
where beer goes. It's a cycle. You go back to those classic styles. You go back to
Well,
the things
there's,
that are
that's the thing.
easy
There's-
to drink, full-flavored, full-bodied, wonderful beers.
Well, that's what's so nice about having such a diversity of styles. You know, people often ask me, "What's your favorite beer?" And I don't have a favorite beer.
I don't
You know,
You used to though, right? When you were
no.
young and dumb. You
Well,
like,
there you could-
have a-
you could-
We're not young and dumb anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You used to have a favorite. and
No,
now
not
it's like,
really.
no,
You know, because
No.
before I started in the industry, you know, you just drank what there was, and you know, and most of it was very similar.
We never even thought about it.
Never even thought about it unless you're going to drink an imported beer, which was just a little maltier domestic beer.
Skunky and skunky.
And skunky, and oxidized. But you know, that's the thing. The beer that you're having, as Terence kind of mentions, that you want the beer for that moment. And so, you know, it's food based, it's friendship based, it's weather dependent, it's location. You know, one of the great new things, well, not new, but for the craft industry over the last 5-10 years is putting beer in cans. You know, because I love canned beer. When I travel now, I buy selections of beers and bring them home, and my wife and I share them.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
And
Isn't it
it's just
great?
like, you know, it's just incredible. And you know, last night I was grilling chicken and I made a big salad, and we had a Belgian style ale from Jackrabbit Brewing in Sacramento.
Yeah.
It was delicious, you know. So I get to diversify my consumption a little bit more than I could a few years ago.
Yeah. Oh, it's like tenfold in the last 5 years.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with that. Like the option of like taking cans, you know, off road or off the grid, and you know, having beers when you're hiking and you know, packing them out and not packing a bunch of bottles, and I truly believe that like craft beer is now started to get into diversifying its packaging and better packaging, and it's increasing the quality, and it's only going to make for better beer and make people step up and make great beer, because if you're not around making great beer, you're not going to be around long.
Plus, you can put 18, 16-ounce cans in your luggage and not go over the weight limit.
Yes. Very
Yes,
important.
now that's
Oh,
a
now we're
perfect
talking.
point.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking very important things. Now, the ideal way to smuggle your beers through luggage. What's your system?
I just check my bags.
You just put it in there. But how do you
Yes.
prep your bag?
You can
how do you
take,
prep your cans?
When I
Any
pack
bottles?
my bag for the night before, I just use my socks, my old socks, dirty socks.
That's
I've
exactly
only
it.
had one
People are like, I'm
container
buying-
break on
Yeah.
me. Only one container, and it was moonshine.
You can put 3 12-ounce
Mason
cans.
jar.
Oh
next to
no,
our
I'm so
sock.
sorry.
Well, that's very important. I always just do 1 sock per can or
Oh
bottle.
no. Then you just
no.
Then you
This
just
is
all
a
about
very
economy of
intelligent
scale.
thing
you
going
just
on
lay
right
them
now.
out, you know.
Yeah.
You do not want beer in my socks. You
It's
do not
fine.
want to.
If
No,
they're
I
a
don't
can,
want your
what's the
socks
big
in my
deal?
beer.
No, that too. That too.
I'm glad we're all professionals. There's people who go buy like plastic wrap to ship things home. Like you
know-
have clothes that are dirty. They can get more dirty if something happens, and
Right.
it won't. But odds are it'll be fine. But
I have
on the off
thrown
chance,
away
you're already gonna
clothing
wash
to
those.
put beer in my luggage.
See, I've given away beer at the line. I was like, "Ooh, I'm 2 pounds over. Does anybody want a can of beer? We can go outside." Like, we got
There's always one
two
one
cans
person
to go.
back
We
there
got 2
that'll
cans
take
I gotta get
beer.
rid of. I guess
sure.
there's maybe 3 cans.
If I was
Anyway,
in line, I
I've
would
done
take
it.
one.
Yep, that's right.
That's the future of beer, is traveling with it in the airlines.
But
Surely.
you know the future beer. I'm sitting here right now looking out over the patio at Sierra Nevada, and I am looking at the same people I looked at back in the 80s.
Yeah.
That were sitting down, excited about tasting some new beers, and they're all sitting around. Look at them. They're all enjoying themselves. They're great conversation, and they're enjoying the
Yep.
taste, quality taste of real malt.
And it's multi-generational.
Oh, yeah.
yes,
you know.
yes, always multi-generation.
Yeah, those are my neighbors over
Which
there.
is really good because I'm getting pretty old, you know. and I'm really happy to see
Yeah,
there's
we're-
still some of us out there.
Like we mentioned earlier, we're just getting to that point where it's your dad's beer is Sierra Nevada Pale, and we're pushing, like you said earlier, to my grandpa's beer
That
is
is
a Sierra
cool.
Nevada Pale.
Yes.
And
Like
that's
if you're the
so
wild
awesome.
uncle's beer, then you're badass.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all cyclical, and you can't predict
right.
what new iteration of an IPA is going to come out and be a hit. So predicting the future of beer is just like a new version of a thing we already have.
Yeah,
It's probably gonna be the thing.
Exactly.
So if we had to speak on the future of beer and my personal, I would love to see it be a little bit more simple. To me, there's nothing better than an amazing Pilsner, like you said, a
Yes.
Saison, just kind of basic styles that are done to perfection.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing better than that, in
That's
my
right.
opinion.
That's right.
I don't fault anyone doing, hazy IPAs. I love them. It's what I drink now. Fruit in beers, that's fine. But when a true traditional style beer is made the way it should be made, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, you know what? Let me. Can I say something about the
No.
beer? Every time.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. Anyway.
Absolutely, please.
I'm the senior here.
Yeah.
Anyway, people have asked me for years what's my favorite beer. For years, because I've been around for so long and I've judged so many beers over the years and everything. And you know what I've told them? And I've been saying this literally for 20 years. When somebody asks me, what's your favorite beer? I close my eyes and I think about it and I go, I hope it hasn't been brewed yet.
Oh my God. Yes.
That's a great answer.
Oh, that is awesome.
And
I'm stealing
believe
that
me,
one.
I've heard
and
my
I
hands
said
works in
that
my hand. I've
I
heard
said
that a million
that 20
times.
years ago, and look what's happening. I mean, if I hadn't said that, I'd have never tasted a hazy, or I'd have never tasted some of these fruit beers, or some of these great sours that Rare Barrel and some of these great breweries are doing, and the old fashioned I'm drinking right here from
Right.
Sierra Nevada. You wouldn't have tasted some of these amazing beers.
Yeah, because you don't know where it's going.
And that's, like I said earlier, that's what brewers are all about. They're innovative. They're 5-star Michelin chefs is what brewers are.
And they have no mental barriers.
Yep.
And they have the tools to do what
Exactly.
they want.
Yeah.
So I think it's wide open.
I like your answer better than mine because I just tell people my favorite beer is like my favorite child. It's the one
No.
I'm not pissed at.
Well, that's not a bad one either. I just hope it hasn't been brewed yet. And
No, I
it
love
keeps
that.
happening over and over.
I think Steve and I might steal that from you.
You can steal
Yeah.
it anytime
Yeah,
you
okay.
want.
That's
If I can
that's an
remember
amazing
it at
answer.
the moment.
Yeah, right.
So I just we kind of have to wrap up because I'm a terrible host or whatever. So I've been doing this podcast for a while, and I think that the resounding response I've gotten from all the brewers I've talked to, all the beer aficionados I've talked to, is that if you're going to design the world's perfect brewery, everybody I talk to, their goal is to be Sierra Nevada.
It's beautiful.
You innovate, you make sure that everything is exactly the same every time. You get back to your community nonstop. We talked about the fact that we even
Thank
helped
you.
Judy get back on it.
Yep.
But with the resilience, with the fact that you guys actually manufacture more electricity than you need, and you give it back to the city. You give your spent grain to the farmers. Like, if you talk about what a brewery should be, it's Sierra Nevada. And it's crazy because when you start looking at where breweries are going now, there's not going to be another one. Everybody's goal is to be Sierra Nevada, but at this point, beer is so localized that it's all, you can't become you. You are an anomaly.
It could happen, but it'll be very difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for us to be us ourselves as it is.
Yes,
you
it
know,
is.
I mean, we are Sierra Nevada, but we fight with that too. Trying to be a little local, but it's I think, and Steve definitely grew up with this. Being here at the brewery is. It's who we are, and Sierra Nevada has never been any different than what it is now. It just happens to make more beer.
That's right. That's right.
Our mentality has always been about community. It's always been sustainable. It's always, look back in the day whenever you guys, clean bottles and reuse bottles, and nothing
our own
is
dumpster diving.
Yeah.
Yes, right, and so. So literally, all it is like a larger footprint than what we used to be, as far as how we do things. But
And I
it's
think
always
it's one
been
of the things I enjoy so much about the craft brewing industry as a whole. It's part of the DNA of the industry. So independent of how size you are, so many of the young brewers that I talk to, they're into recycling and reuse and energy conservation because they understand the importance of it for their community and community as a whole. And so that's always been one of the things that I really enjoyed about working in the craft.
Yeah, and Sierra Nevada
industry.
set those standards.
Set those standards.
Yes.
yeah.
And when we talk about the future of beer, that's it. You're environmentally conscious. You care about your community. You give back, and you make great beer. That's really the future.
And that's what beer's all about.
It's really what it is.
It goes back to Judy's comment, looking out here, this
Yeah,
is our
look.
community.
Yeah.
And so, breweries have, as an industry, tend to have a pretty big footprint, and you can make quite an impact on
Positive
your
or
local
negative.
community, positive or negative. But I mean, this is the community
Yeah.
that we live in and that we serve. So it's fantastic.
It truly is.
Beer is good. Craft beer is better.
Yes.
I think there's no better way to go out on episode 100.
Ben,
Steve Dresler.
Ben, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Terrence,
Ben.
thanks so much. Judy, so much.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Thank you for letting me
This
sit
has
in
been
for a
great.
few minutes. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for just showing
no.
up.
The best.
Because of course you would. Why would you not?
Well, they asked
We
me.
got some
and I'm
real
like,
history here,
Yeah.
right?
I figured this would happen. I'm like,
He was my first boss here.
I
Yeah.
hired you.
Yes, he
Wow.
did.
sorry
And
about
I,
that.
and I knew
We all
both
make
these
mistakes.
guys when they were about 26.
Yep. Judy and I go back a little bit of time.
Yeah,
Yes.
So great timing.
sweet.
So this has been episode 100 of Barley Me. We made it a century.
100.
About a little cheers.
Cheers
that.
to Ben Rice. 100 years. 100 shows.
100 beers. What are we doing?
And 100
100
beers.
shows. Over 100 years worth of brewing experience here.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Cheers.
Steve Dresler, Judy Ashworth, Terence Sullivan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for listening. Get home safe.
Cheers.